Hello and welcome to this session at Comsverse about aligning organisations' culture in teams with Viva Goals. My name is Kevin McDonnell. I'm the Head of Practice for Modern Workplace at CPS, a UK-based Microsoft Goal partner. You can find me on Twitter at KevMcDonk, LinkedIn/KevMcDonnell. I've got a few YouTubes on there, including Grey Hat Beard Princess, where I'm the co-host of the Grey Hat Beard Princess podcast. You may be looking at that and going, hang on, there's no princess there. Thankfully, the princess is there at Comsverse, Louisa Fries, and we are working to update all our stuff to make sure she's included everywhere. It's getting there. I'm also a Viva Explorer. I will talk a little bit more about that later. And how do you know someone's an MVP? Obviously, they tell you. And I'm an Office Apps and Services MVP as well. So after this session, you'll have an understanding of what the challenge of sharing culture is for organisations, especially around this hybrid world where people aren't there day to day in the office. And we'll talk a bit about what OKRs are and how they can solve that. And then we'll spend a nice amount of time talking about OKRs within Viva Goals themselves. And I'll cover at the end a bit around licensing, timelines for when Viva Goals becomes available, and some useful links as well. But let's kick off nicely with the challenge of sharing culture. So this is about where you are with an organisation and making sure that everyone understands how you're working. You know, they talk about how culture eats strategy for breakfast. This is about getting that focus on what you should be doing now to everyone in the organisation on a regular basis. And organisations at the moment have to really adapt to the many competing pressures on them. You know, whether it's Brexit and the pandemic, the Great Resignation, the cost of living crisis, hybrid working, to costly office spaces. Oh, sorry, I'm really depressing myself going through these things. But all these are impacting organisations at the moment. And what it's leading to is different departments seeing those problems at different times, and it's causing competing goals. You know, if you've got an area where there's a large amount of resignations, they're going to be focusing on just getting past. If you've got others who are seeing that cost of living impact either the staff or even just the cost of petrol impacting there, they're going to be focused on that. And all these different things are causing competing goals. And with that, you haven't got an aligned focus for an organisation. And so many studies show that if you have an organisation working together, they're more effective, they're more successful on there. So you want the challenge of those misaligned focus is something you want to get rid of as well. Throw into this the fact that everyone's now hybrid working. Well, maybe not everyone, but the vast majority are hybrid working. Some people are in the office on some days, they're in the home other days, maybe on the move at different times. Everyone's a lot more in different places, even more so than previously. And it's changing a lot as well. That pace of change of where people are is impacting people. And the tools that they use are changing. And kind of having gone to the pandemic and got used to working from home and having Teams chat and then going back into the office, and some awesome new Teams room devices so you can collaborate more. Or maybe there isn't and you're kind of expecting those and you haven't got the things you've got. There's just a lot of churn, which is causing a lot of burnout with people, a lot of stress within there, and people struggling to keep up to all these different things. Now, I'm not saying that hybrid working should be ignored and is a bad thing. We should just go back to the way that things were. Far, far from it. But you should plan for these challenges. Put in place the right process and tools to support getting over these challenges and help people align the organisation goals. The organisation goals and their input to those goals. Help employees to be more aligned. Organisations need that framework to ensure that alignment, to increase visibility of what is needed to be done and transparency on what people understand, to help break down those silos that exist. And I know from speaking to many people, as the pandemic's happened, teams have worked well together. But it's those kind of connected people that you bump into occasionally. It's that where the breakdown has happened. So trying to break down those silos that are starting to occur and helping people with that change of direction to make sure that adoption is consistent. OKRs are intended to do this. OKRs help the C-suite, those CEOs and the board, to define and communicate their top level objectives to the organisation so that department strategies are aligned to meet these. OKRs help set up a rhythm for the alignment and continual change towards these aims. OKRs align with the delivery of these objectives through portfolios and programs and projects. And finally, and to my view the most important one, OKRs focus on individuals to know what part they can be playing into these, how what they're doing on a regular basis matters to the organisation as a whole. Now, you might be wondering at this point what OKRs are, because I haven't actually told you that. I don't like to lead with talking about OKRs because when you look at them in isolation, it's hard to understand the value that they bring and why you're looking to do that. In the same way that a blank whiteboard means nothing. Just knowing what an OKR looks like doesn't help from the beginning, but you understand those challenges now. Let's go into talking about what an OKR is and how it fits into those challenges. At that base level, an OKR is an objective key result. The objective is what you're aiming to achieve. It's what you want to get from your quarterly output. The key result is the measurement that not only says how you'll get it, but monitors how close you are to achieving that as well. So it's those metrics defined within there. An objective should be a simple, short statement. It should be easy to understand. And it should be challenging. It shouldn't be an easy thing to do. It should be looking to stretch you from within there. The key result, on the other hand, is definitive. There's no grey area with what you put in a key result. If you come through objectives, you may have heard SMART talk about the acronym SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time-based, and that's fit very nicely in with that key result, especially the specific and measurable. Let's look at an example of either an organisation or this could be a marketing department OKR. To increase that user engagement on the company website, you want to get more people there, more leads, etc., on there. What is the key result for that? Well, the number of users increases. The hits per user increases. So not only are you getting more people there, but people are going to more pages and viewing more content on there. And the breadth of page views increases. So the number of different pages that people look at increases as well. I would say these key results, I need to kind of increase these, but they could become a bit big on there because you should be more specific with the numbers. So the number of users should increase from 5,000 to 10,000, for example. And the hits per user should increase from an average of 1.75 to 2.14, for example. You want to be very specific with those numbers, and I'll cover some examples when we look at Viva Goals itself. Talking of Viva Goals, one of the things that is specific more to Viva Goals rather than the general view of OKRs are projects, and these are efforts that help you achieve a key result. If we think about that increasing number of users on the website, then maybe you'd have a project which rebuilds the framework or revamp your marketing, your ad spend to bring more people to there. It's a specific project that says how you're going to meet that key result, and it brings together that business strategy that you've got with the OKRs with the business strategy or culture with that implementation of how you do it. It aligns your delivery with your goals as well. So they can be a very powerful way of looking at things and making sure you bring together what people have to do on a day-to-day basis with why they need to do it through their OKRs. So linking those projects to those OKRs, the what with the why as well. As someone with 3 boys, including a 5-year-old who very much likes saying why, I know how important the why is at the moment. Coming on to those OKRs, let's go to some more examples. And what you'll see here, I've taken out the key results from these elements specifically on there and just focus on the objectives. But you can see here that we're starting to get a hierarchy of OKRs. We've got that organisation one of becoming a must-have product. Now, by defining that as an organisation, the marketing team, the chief marketing officer, has their own OKRs there. which could be to understand the objectives here, understand the alternative products to one you have. So the organisation is looking to build a must-have product, much like the many great ones that the sponsors out there have, showing off out in the lobby there. But when it comes down to this, they also want to establish that customer engagement plan, and they want to create content down in the marketing team to support that product launch. And then you want to establish a presence at key events like Commsverse. And the events teams, if some of those events teams out there hopefully have got OKRs to drive that record return on investment from events like this. And they know by doing that, they are working towards becoming a must-have product. They understand by looking through that transparent view of those steps what they're doing and how it plays into their needs. Some of you will be looking over here at the sales ones, and you can see that the sales team need to meet territory focused goals. I mean, what's that got to do with becoming a must-have product? But if you look through this transparent hierarchy of those, you get that understanding of as well. And that's one of the key benefits of OKRs. During the Viva Goals training, the Viva Goals teams themselves talk a lot about the 5 superpowers of OKRs. You've got that focus because actually with OKRs, generally the recommended practice is to look at 3 to 5 goals per quarter at each of those layers. And it forces organisations to focus on the work that matters. I know there's many times you've probably gone, oh, I need to do this, and 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 this, and this. I'm trying to get more than 5 there. All these different things, and you end up not doing anything. Actually focus on getting one thing done well allows you to do with OKRs. And it's not just you as an individual, it's you as an organisation and what those things are. And you have that alignment because research shows that only 7% of employees actually understand their company strategy. But when you put OKRs with this, it becomes a lot higher because people understand not only that they need to focus, but they're aligned to that focus through their OKR as well. OKRs are also driven by data, so you can track that data through those key results and monitoring that content that comes through as well. And it's also transparent as much as possible. So where that hierarchy is, everyone should be able to see those hierarchy and understand what the focus of each individual team is. And then finally, it should be that stretch, as I talked about right at the beginning. There should be a challenge to this, because if you want great things to happen, then you've got to push people within this as well. It does mean that a lot of the time you shouldn't actually succeed with all your OKRs. If everyone in the organisation is passing all their OKRs, you're doing something wrong. You're not setting them as enough of a stretch. So thinking about how you can encourage people to push forward onto things as well. And this brings on to the benefits. This isn't just transparency. Alloy and what's now become Viva Goals have done their research, and they've seen that you see that 37% increase in productivity by giving that single pane of glass to your organisation, that visibility on what really matters. Then you get that increase, that 80 to 90% jump in attainment of results. You see an increase in net income. You can see growth in revenue, all these different surveys that have shown the great thing on there. Why is there a benefit? Well, let's be honest, it all comes down to money. And here is a great way to show the value that OKRs bring. But what does this look like within Viva Goals itself? You'll probably be unsurprised to know that it sits within Microsoft Teams. We're here at Commsverse, the premier Microsoft Teams conference out there. And so we're going to be talking about how these things sit within Teams. It's an app right there in Teams. So you're there in your flow of work where so many of us are focused right now. And there you can see your OKRs. You can see your organization OKRs. You can view what you've been doing. You can see your OKRs listed there and the kind of current status and progress that you've got within those. So how far you've got with those numbers and what you see as the status. Is that on track with things as well? You can see the due date and the details there. Oops, sorry, it's jumping ahead a little bit. It's worth noting that there are also bots and things, so this is embedded into all the great things you've got within Teams. It's not just the website there as a tab. There are more things that integrate within this as well. And when you dig down into those actual objectives and start looking at your key results, you can see where you've started. So within your quarter that you've defined your period, what the start point is, what your target is that you're aiming to get with that key result, your current value. You can define your current value, and you can define what you see as a status. And we call these check-ins. So you have that regular check-in cadence. It gives you notifications in Teams. It can give you email as well, depending on what you want to, how you want to get those results. And that those notifications come through as well to remind you to update this on a regular basis. And there you see all those things I've been talking about around those hierarchy of OKRs. You see those within Viva Goals itself as well. And you can take this further with those check-ins. You can expand on those hierarchy that we've just shown there. You can see those different key results and objectives, and you can click on those and view the actual numbers over time and how things evolved. It does put it as very linear by default. I know many people would be flat, panic at the end, which you absolutely shouldn't be doing, but I know some of you will. And within that, you should be tracking these, keeping up data, noting when things are dropping off and pushing towards getting that completion to keep it on track with those items as well. So you can track your progress very easily on a regular basis. You've got that hierarchy to not only see your own ones, but you can start to see the people around you to build up to your team objectives. So you'll know you're working together with that transparency on what needs to be done. You shouldn't be just fighting yours. Success is that overall team one, and all of you working together to be able to achieve that. When it comes through to how you set the key results themselves, the KRs, you define your metrics. So such as here, the usage of the enterprise support channel. You can set that target within there. So whether you're going to increase it up to 45 or decrease to 45. And you've got that start point. So in this case, it's going from 0 up to 45. I guess that's number of users. Hopefully you should be a bit more specific about what that is within the comments there. But you can see that 0 to 45. And one thing I love that actually didn't exist in LI, this does seem to be new to Viva Goals, is that it automatically creates the key result title in the correct format for a key result. It fits with what you're doing, what the measurement is, and what those actual numbers are for that measurement by building those things up together. And you can edit that, so if it doesn't quite work, doesn't flip off the end of the tongue, then you can get those, you can edit that and change it to what you want. You can define the details, so the type of OKR you've got the owner and the due date, and you can also assign these OKRs to multiple teams. One of the things I loved at the MVP Summit, I can't talk about too much what was there, but one of the things, two teams that were working together on something, they were in different departments, and they talked about having shared OKRs. The session was nothing about Viva Goals or OKRs, but that comment came through, and it kind of reassured me that they were working together because they had the same measures that they were getting through to say what success looks like as well. Now, just expanding on that slightly, you'll see within the progress area that often by default it's set to update manually. That's where you get that kind of check-in update on there. But you can actually link this up to other systems. You can link it to Excel. Oh, please try not to do it Excel, but you could, and otherwise you could do it to Azure DevOps, you can do it to GitHub, you can do it to SQL Server, so you can have a consistent place where you're putting measurements. So it could come from your different systems, maybe your CRM, so you could say we're looking to increase the number of clients we have. Don't make someone manually go and do that. Hook it up to that CRM's database and you can pull that data through automatically. And that means when you're putting those charts, you're not expecting to people to map those in every week. It will be there automatically. You still have that check-in, so you can provide a comment on there, as I'll show in a minute, but it's automatically pulling that data. Now you can see here some of the other views on here. You've got the OKRs, we've gone into the dashboard view, so you can pull in certain elements. You can even add some commentary and key updates that you can share with people as a single place to give you a nice view. There is that transparency, but sometimes you just need that summary to make it easier. And here again, we're at Comms First, all about Teams. You can share these updates into Teams itself and get that update appearing in a channel so that people provide those links to it and see that embedded within their individual teams. So you don't always have to be in the Viva Goals app. You can put those tabs of those dashboards into your own team. So you've got that single place to go to find out the information. And within there as well, you can also use Teams to provide those check-ins. So you can see that completion 68%, that could have come through automatically. But you can add that note to say that I ran a 30-day pilot with blah, 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 blah. Hopefully something interesting on there, which keeps things going. And because you're transparent there, you're telling other people about it. So you can actually like and comment on that and maybe tell Cecil, yeah, you probably should have seen a 28% drop in resolution time or something like that. You can put those additional commentary embedded within this as well. Because it's there in Teams, it's built in so many of those Teams things. So whether it's bots, tabs, it is using all the great things that you can do within Teams. And you can see here again, this is how you add those actual check-ins themselves that really help you make it easy to do within the flow of work on there. I touched on some of those automated metrics. You can use Azure DevOps, Excel Online, GitHub. One day I'll remember to update this and put SQL Server on there. Those are the kind of four big Microsoft ones at the moment. There is certainly discussions about adding more of those within there, but you'll see there's a lot of other ones. The heritage of Ally.io, picking up things like Salesforce, Zendesk, even Tableau can be used. So if you are using non-Microsoft things within your organization, there are absolutely ways that you can get that those updates into Viva Goals as well. And there will be more coming. I don't know for definitive, there isn't things on the roadmap yet, but there is certainly a natural link to say things like Planner, SharePoint List, Power BI are all the kind of things that are on the conversation to be looking at. And it makes sense now being part of Microsoft to bring those things further into there as well. In terms of licensing and what it costs, at the moment, the only confirmed way that you will be able to go get Viva Goals when it comes out, as I said, it's in private preview at the moment, but when it comes out, will be to get that all-in Viva license. So getting your connections, insights, topics, learning, and Viva Goals within the same one. The list price, UK one, is £6.80 per user per month, and that will include Viva Goals as well. They haven't yet said what the individual price is. That is still to be confirmed. If you look at the all-in Viva licenses, you can see that Connections is included in your SharePoint licenses already. But if you want Insights Premium, you're looking at £3 per user per month. Topics, £3 per user per month. Learning Premium, £3 per user per month. Viva Goals, well, I don't know what that will be, but you know, I like consistency. I'd love to see that sit there at a kind of similar level. But you can also then see the value of going for that all-in suite. Certainly if you get it before the 1st of September, that's currently a discount. I think it will go up to £9 per user per month after the 1st. And you could even bring Glint and see even more savings. So the more you put in there, the more savings you can see. And it's a real value of getting all those different items as well. In terms of when, then they've announced general availability for Viva Goals of Q3 2022. There was some talk in some of the posts about August. It's not formally on the roadmap, so there will be some change from there as well. So keep an eye. I'm sure there will be more news coming out. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out in August because I'm going on holiday in the second half of August, and it's almost certain to land just when I'm away, just to wind me up. But do keep a lookout for that as well. Some useful links. Apologies, this is a pre-recorded session, so I haven't got the links for there. Please do drop me a line at Kev McDonk on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn if you would like direct these links. But there are a whole load of adoption resources. If you have a look at adoption.microsoft.com and have a search for Viva, there is a whole load around Viva Goals as well as the other Viva elements on there. Also in docs.microsoft.com, if you look for Viva Goals, there's a whole load of documentation around how to use Viva Goals, how to set it up, how to configure, how to run it. So all the content is there ready to get you started as soon as that general availability hits. There was also training available, so if you go to Microsoft Learn, look for the OKR leadership section. There's a whole load of things, not only about how to use Viva Goals, but how OKRs are important. I've been through the training, it's fantastic. Ally have done a great job with really helping to understand what the power of OKRs are and get those across as part of the training. If you like reading books as well, Measure What Matters. My colleague Tom Short knows that I will repeatedly mention this book because it's fantastic. I really like this. I actually bought this before I knew about OKRs. It kind of brought me to that way before I knew about Ally and Viva Goals, and it really inspired me on that kind of measure. Exactly what it says there: measuring what matters. John Doerr, the author, he actually brought OKRs into Google, and so many people at Google have said it has been fundamental to the success that they've had. And he talks about a lot of the stories within there, which is really interesting. So a lot of real life examples in there as well. Finally, I mentioned at the beginning, I'm a Viva Explorer, so I'm going to explain a little bit more about what that is. We're a group of MVPs who have that shared passion for Microsoft Viva. We come from things from a very different angle. Some of us are more technical, some of us come from the more business area of that. And there are other Viva Explorers here. I'm speaking with Leslie Crook on Viva. During Comsverse, I know Martina Grom is there, Kat Grennan will be around, so we have Leslie, our Viva Visionary, Kat, our Viva cheerleader, Martina, our Viva, I'm going to say Macarena dancer because I can never remember Martina's name. Sorry, Martina. I am the Viva Transformer as well. So we're all looking at different roles of aspects of sharing the what, the why and the how of Microsoft Viva and the importance of it. We're also working with Microsoft, so we'd love to hear from you about challenges you've faced and how we can kind of bring the different pillars of Viva, which can often be very different teams, to be more focused on there as well. So acting as a key contact point at the moment. So please check out our website. We have a YouTube channel. You're probably looking at the link there going, how on earth am I going to write that down? Go to the website, the YouTube channel is on there, and if you could subscribe to it, then we can get a much nicer name. So the more of you subscribe, the more likely you'll be easier to remember. So please do hit the subscription. We'll have a whole load of videos talking about the what, the why and the how of Viva. But otherwise, thank you very much. I love Comsverse, had a fantastic time last year. Pretty sure I'm having a fantastic time this year as well, but this is pre-recorded, so I don't quite know yet. Please go and speak to all the sponsors. They do make these things happen. Go and have a word with them, chat to them, just find out, and you might get inspiration from there as well. Talk to them about what your challenges are and find out how they can help. Also, if you see Mark, Randy and Martin around, do thank them because they put so much effort into making this conference happen. They're just fantastic. So thank you to them. Thank you to you for listening, and hopefully see you around.